Have you ever wondered how chemists know exactly how much stuff to mix together to get a specific reaction? Well, it's not magic and it's not guesswork. It's a really powerful tool called stoichiometry, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you how it all works. So to get started, I've got a question for you. What on earth could a baker's recipe for, say, a chocolate cake possibly have in common with a chemical formula? I know, it sounds kind of weird, right? Well, believe it or not, the answer is super simple. It's all about ratios. It's all about the proportions. Just like you need 2 cups of flour for every 1 cup of sugar, chemistry has its own recipes. Think 2 parts hydrogen to 1 part oxygen to make water. If you get those proportions right, you get the exact result you were aiming for. And that, right there, is the core of stoichiometry. You can think of it as chemical accounting. It's all about making sure the books are balanced on a molecular level. And this isn't just some abstract idea. It's the foundation for everything from creating life-saving medicines to manufacturing the materials all around us. Okay, you ready to get your hands dirty? Our first challenge is what I like to call the blueprint. We're going to learn how to read the fundamental composition of a molecule. So here's our first mission. We're going to take this molecule, pyridine. Its formula is C5H5N, and our job is to figure out the weight percentage of each element inside it. You know, how much of it is actually carbon, how much is hydrogen, and how much is nitrogen. The process is actually a pretty straightforward 4-step dance. First, you figure out the total weight of the entire molecule. Then, you find the total weight of each individual element. After that, you just divide the part by the whole, multiply by 100 to make it a percentage, and bam, you've got your answer. It's really that simple. So here's how we build that total molecular weight. We look at the formula. We've got 5 carbon atoms. So we take 5 and multiply it by carbon's atomic mass, which you can find on the periodic table. We do the exact same thing for the 5 hydrogen atoms and the 1 nitrogen atom. Then we just add them all up, and we get a grand total of 79.10 grams per mole for pyridine. Now, to find the percentage for carbon, we just take its total mass. That was 60.05, divide it by the molecule's total mass, 79.10, and then multiply by 100. And that gives us 75.9%. We then do this exact same calculation for hydrogen and for nitrogen to finish our blueprint. Easy enough? All right, you've totally mastered the blueprints. Let's level up a bit for our next challenge. We're going to switch hats now, from architect to detective. It's time to solve a mystery. So here's the case file. We've got this compound with a mystery element, we'll call it X, and it's bonded to 3 chlorine atoms. But we have one crucial piece of evidence. We know that chlorine makes up exactly 79.76% of this compound's total mass. Our mission is to figure out the identity of our mysterious element X. Now, to crack this case, we have to lean on one fundamental truth. That 79.76%, that number represents chlorine's part of the whole mass. And that simple idea is going to be our guiding light for this entire investigation. Okay, so let's set up an equation based on that idea. We know the percentage of chlorine is equal to the mass of our 3 chlorine atoms divided by the total mass of the whole thing. And what's the total mass? Well, it's just the mass of those chlorines plus the mass of our mystery element X. From there, it's just a matter of plugging in the numbers we know and doing a little algebra to solve for X. And after we run the numbers, after all the algebra shakes out, we find that the atomic mass of our mystery element is 26.99 grams per mole. We have its chemical fingerprint. So, the big question. We are looking for an element on the periodic table with an atomic mass that's almost exactly 27 grams per mole. Who's our culprit? Any ideas? And if you look it up, there it is, right on the periodic table, aluminum. The mystery is solved. Our unknown compound is actually aluminum chloride, AlCl3. Case closed. Okay, so you've read a blueprint and you solved a mystery. Now, for our final challenge, we're going to combine those skills to analyze a complete system. This is where it really all comes together. Here's the final puzzle. We have a 1-gram mixture. Inside that mixture are 2 different compounds, silver chloride and silver bromide. We also have one more clue. We know that within that 1-gram sample, there are exactly 0.6457 grams of pure silver. The challenge is, what percentage of the mixture is silver chloride and what percentage is silver bromide? Now here's our strategy. We have 2 things we don't know, right? the mass of the silver chloride and the mass of the silver bromide. And if you remember from algebra, to solve for two unknowns, you need two separate equations. The first one's pretty simple. We know their combined mass is just 1 gram. The second one, though, requires us to think in moles. The moles of silver that come from the silver chloride, plus the moles of silver from the silver bromide, have to add up to the total moles of silver that we have. So let's set it up. We'll say X is the grams of silver chloride and Y is the grams of silver bromide. That gives us our first equation, X plus Y equals 1. For the second equation, we first need to convert our grams of silver into moles of silver. Then we set up our mole equation, which connects the moles of each compound back to X and Y using their molecular weights. Now we've got a system of two equations, and we can solve it to find the exact mass of each compound.
And after solving that system of equations, we find our answer. Our 1 gram mixture is made of 0.4 grams of silver chloride and 0.6 grams of silver bromide. Or to put it another way, the mixture is 40% silver chloride and 60% silver bromide.
Wow, okay. After tackling those three challenges, we've actually built up a pretty impressive set of skills. So let's take a second to recap and put together our official stoichiometry toolkit. So, core strategies. First, always start by calculating the molecular weights. That is your absolute foundation. Second, remember that percentages are a great tool for working backward to find unknowns. For complicated mixtures, think about setting up a system of equations. And probably most important of all, never forget that moles are the universal translator in chemistry. They are the bridge that connects the mass you can actually weigh in a lab to the invisible world of atoms. Think about what we just did. We went from reading a simple blueprint to solving a chemical mystery, and then all the way to analyzing an entire complex system. You've seen how these skills build on each other, and you now have the fundamental tools to be a real molecular detective. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the tools to analyze the world on a molecular level. So, what could you do with that knowledge? What new recipes could you create? Thanks so much for joining me on this journey.